Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from the Fairgrounds Racecourse here on Saturday. It is the 23rd of March 2024. Going to look at all the stakes races, including the Louisiana Derby, here on this penultimate day of the meeting. But before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Get 5 for more selections for racecourses around the world, and I mean it, around the world. We have a lot of races to look at, all the stakes races, races 2, 3, 7 through 12. So 2, 3, 7 through 12. Let's get to it right now because we have a lot of action. Second race from the Fairgrounds, it is the Costa Rising Stakes. It's going for a purse of $100,000, race for 3-year-olds and upwards. Louisiana breds. Field 10 horses heading to the Stall Wilson Turf Course. The distance of ground of 1,100 meters or 5.5 furlongs on that Stall Wilson Turf Course. Rails are down for closing weekend. Top selection, I'm going to go with the number 7 horse here. My pal Matty, 7924 for me in the superfecta. 7924 super. Top selection, 7 horse, my pal Matty. 6-year-old gelding by my pal Charlie. Lee Thomas trains, gets Rodriguez up in the saddle. The horse's most recent appearance came in Optional 35 State Breds here at the Fairgrounds, 5.5, 24th February. First time on the turf since mid last year. He did it wonders. He won by 1 length on the front end. He basically set his own fractions, quickened up nicely off of that. That was a very good return to the winner's circle. His speed figures on turf have been up to par. Coming back here, it wasn't the fastest race he ran on turf, but it was a good race. Refreshing here, back to stakes quality horses again, which he's proven he can run with. I think he get the trip to win. 2 back in the Louisiana Premier Legends Night sprint at Delta, 5 furlongs in the mud, 3rd of February. He finished 3rd by 2 1/4 lengths that day, and he was with them early on, but then he just kind of crumbled. Not his day to win. And then a 5 on the Optional 30 at Delta for open horses, open company. He finished 4th by 7 lengths that day, and again, he just stalked and just not keeping up. He's not a dirt horse. Like I said, look at his numbers. He really runs these good races on turf. Going back to his last race on turf before the last one, came 17th of June at Evangeline, 5 furlongs, Optional 30, winning by 9 lengths on the front end all throughout. He really took off clear with a 98 Buyer. And then prior to that, in Chamberlain Bridge at Lone Star with the 5 furlongs, he finished 4th by 1 1/4 lengths, just missing late, but he ran his heart out. And again, and got caught at the wire at Lone Star in late April last year. Refreshing here at 72, back to State Breds, he could win. I think the 9 horse here, Brian's Iron Mike, for Ben Curtis, who's having an absolutely killer winter in New Orleans. I wonder if he's going to stay or go back to the UK. He gets the mount on this one. He's been running against State Breds, and again, another horse, few and far between on the grass, but he ran decently. He placed really well behind my pal Matty last time out, and then Optional 35. His dirt races as of recently haven't been up to par, but nearly won this race last year on that very narrow turf course. I'll give him a shot, trending well at Evangeline and at Delta. But to recount my selection for the second from Fairgrounds, it is the Costa Rising. Going to take the 7 horse, my pal Matty. Give kudos to the 9 horse, who is Brian's Iron Mike. 7924 Super, 79 in the multi race. Excuse me. Let's get to the third race from the Fairgrounds. It is the Crescent City Oaks. It's going for a purse of $100,000. Race for 3-year-old fillies here. Field of 9 horses, going the distance of ground of 1.70 on the main track. I'm going to go with the 4 horse here, Light of Maine. I'm going to go 4-3-2-1 in the superfecta. 4-3-2-1 super. Top selection, 4 horse, Light of Maine. This 3-year-old filly by Taproot here. Brett Calhoun trains. Joel Rosario gets the mount. The horse's most recent appearance came here at the Fairgrounds in late February, 1 mile in the Louisiana Breeder Stakes, whatever they call that race. And the horse finished 3rd by 6 3/4 lengths that day and just did not do wonders. Didn't break so well, got bumped a few times, and just was wide and just not keeping up. If this horse runs races like he did 2 back, or the previous races, he can win today. I think getting, Rosario up really helps his horse a lot. 2 back in the Premier Star Stakes at Delta on the mud, 1 mile, 3rd of February. He won by a neck that day, and on the front and all throughout, he really took a terrific run that day. And then Option 75 over the 7 at Delta in late December, he won by 2 3/4 lengths again. Basically his own way. He really ran a good race. It's something that does slightly, deter me from him. His races in New Orleans haven't been up to scratch, but he is training quite nicely since the last race, getting Rosario up. I'm going to give him a shot here on the ticket. The 3 horse Platinum Minute for Dallas Stewart and Ray Lou Gutierrez could win also. Here against State Breds in early February, going a mile in a lounge race. He won by a head that day, and he gamed it out to the wire. Very good run around 2 turns for the first time. Prior to that, Louisiana Futurity on New Year's Eve here locally. He finished 3rd by 3 lengths. Stupidly wide, but he was really closing up well late. If there's a bit of a pace meltdown, he could win. It wouldn't surprise me also if he sits on the front end. I'll give him a shot here in this wide open 3rd race. But to recap my selection for the 3rd from the Fairgrounds now, it's the Crescent City Oaks. Going to take the 4 horse Light of Maine. Give kudos to the 3 horse Platinum Minute. 4-3-2-1 super, 4-3 in the multi-race. So we're going to head over to race number 7 now from New Orleans, the fairgrounds. 7th race, it is the Crescent City Derby. It's going for a purse of $125,000. Race for 3-year-olds here, state breds. Field of 8 horses, going 1,700 meters, or mile 16th here in the Crescent City Derby. Going to take the 5-horse Gamer Nate. I'm going to go 5-2-6-3 in the superfecta. 5-2-6-3 super. Top selection of 5-horse Gamer Nate. 3-year-old called by Diversidaro here. Lonnie Briley trains. Harry Lannery gets to mount. The horse's most recent outing came 2nd of March locally. 1 mile on the sealed main track and main special weight. The horse went by 4 lengths that day and just basically floated over the racetrack. Set very pedestrian fractions, 1:15 and 3 3/4. If you don't win off those fractions, there's nothing wrong with you. But he did just that. It quickened up nicely. That was a very good run. It took him a little bit of time to break the main, but he's always run these bang-up races. 2 back in the main special weights fairgrounds, 1 mile 9th of February. He finished 2nd by 2 lengths that day, and he just kind of stalked. A little lackadaisical late. Just maybe needed the race there. And then the fairgrounds, 1 mile in the main special weight. He finished 2nd by a head. He stalked. He got the lead. Court Jester caught him late, but he ran his heart out that day. I get another horse training well. I'll give him a shot on the ticket. I think the 2-horse El Dinero for James Graham can win also. The race last time out in that Louisiana Stallion Year Stakes at here about a month ago, he finished 2nd by 3/4 length, closing it from nowhere from a wide trip. While previously in the Premier Prince at Delta over the mile on the mud, he really won quite nicely by 2 lengths with an 81 buyer. And then, he won here going sprinting on opening weekend. With every single race, he's been getting better, training well at Evangeline. Give him a shot here on the ticket here in the pick 6 that begins with this race. So let's play it. So to recap my selection for the 7th now from the fairgrounds, it is the Crescent City Derby. Going to take the 5-horse Gamer Nate. Give kudos to the 2-horse El Dinero. 5-2-6-3 super. 5-2 in the multi-race. Let's get to the 8th race from the fairgrounds. My leg fell asleep, so it's kind of getting annoying. So hopefully we'll just, there we go. But I have a little stool underneath where I rest my legs. And my leg, just keep going. Let's get to the 8th event now from the fairgrounds, which is the Tom Benson Memorial. It's going for a purse, $150,000. Race for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 14 horses going 1,700 meters or a mile 16th on the Stall Wilson turf course. My top selection here, I'm going to go with the number 9 horse, the 9-horse Spirit and Glory, 9-10-2-4 in the superfecta, 9-10-2-4 super. Top selection 9-horse Spirit and Glory. This 5-year-old mare by Cotiel Glory, Rob Falcone Jr. trains. Flavian Pratt gets to mount. Horse run locally on preview day here in the Alston Memorial of the mile 16th on a very soft turf course. They had a lot of rain Friday here at the fairgrounds, so it might be a little bit given the ground. Not lightning fast, but I don't think it should be as soft as it was a month ago. But he loved the soft ground. He won by 3/4 length, closing up from nowhere. He really got the turn of foot to win off the bench. Refreshing here with a little given the ground. It seems like this horse wants. Ran up a career best mile with it last time out. I'm going to give him a shot to win, but this race is a little bit tougher than it was last time out. 2 back in the Yellow Ribbon Handicap at Del Mar, mile 16, 12th of August. He finished 2nd by a neck that day and had a bit of a trouble trip going out of that chute into that first turn. Could be trouble at sometimes at Del Mar. He found the trouble. He had to bobble a few times. He really had to turn a foot late. The winner had to jump on him, was the next star winner along with this one, but he ran his heart out there. And then the Eaton Tana Monmouth over the mile 16th. The horse finished 5th by 3 1/4 lengths that day and just did not show up. Very warm day. I don't think he was comfortable there. And then the Miss Liberty at Monmouth over the mile 16th in late May, winning by 3/4 length. Again, a little lackadaisical early on, but settled well and got the job done. Training well, likes his turf course. You see a ground giving it a ground with giving it. He could definitely win. The 10-horse Delahaye for Chad Brown and Tyler Gaffalione could win also. Most recently on the 3rd January at Gulfstream, mile 16th optional 25. He won by 1/4 lengths that day and basically floated on the front end. That was a very clear victory. Prior to that, in mid-November off the bench at Aqueduct, mile 16th in the main special weight, won by 3 1/4 lengths. Again, a little bit wide, but he really, won it easily there. And then first career outing last February at Gulfstream over the 7.5 in the main special weight. He finished 2nd by a neck. Javier lost a whip, which was not ideal, but this horse, again, closed up from nowhere, ran a terrific race here. Stepping up in some major class here today, but could be forwardly paced on this turf course. I'll give him a shot here. Chad Brown, his horses have been a little light this year. Not, he hasn't been aggressive yet with them, so I wonder if he's saving them for, this starting now, going into Keelan. He's the kind of trainer, watch out for McKeelan. And even the 2-horse here, Messidor for Christophe, his races, again, stepping up in class here, but he's run these bang-up races here as of recently. I don't know if he had that. He didn't have the best trip last time at Gulfstream where they walked in the front end, but I'll give him a shot here on the ticket. But to recap my selections last time, to recap my selections now for the 8th from the fairgrounds, Tom Benson Memorial, going to take the 9 horse here. Spirit and Glory, give kudos to the 10 horse DeLahey and the 2 horse Messidor, 9-10, 2-4 Super, 9-10, 2 in the multi race. Pick 4 time with the 9th race in the fairgrounds, a race very rich in history. It is the New Orleans Classic. It's a Grade 2 event going for $500,000 purse race for 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of, 10 horses going 1,800 meters or a mile and 1/8 here in the New Orleans Classic, formerly known as the New Orleans Handicap. My top selection here, I'm going to go with the number 4 horse here, Black Belt, 4-9-2-10 Super for me, 4-9-2-10 Super, top selection of 4 horse, Black Belt. This 6-year-old gun by Not This Time, Peter Walder trains, Brian Hernandez Jr. gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came 17th of February at Gulfstream, mile 16th and off 6-2 claimer, and the horse won by 3.5 lengths that day. Did everything his own way in the front end, it quickened up nicely, back around 2 turns. I thought that was a very good race. Since coming, they had him in New York last winter where he's running not so well in the lower ranks. They took him to Florida and they figured him out. They just started sending him to the front end, and that's when he's really become a better horse. I hope Ryan Hernandez sends him. If he does, he can win. 2 back in the main special weight, I'm 6'2" at Gulfstream, 1 mile, 22nd of December. He finished second by 2.25 lengths that day, and he just stalked that day a little bit wide. He was closing up well late. Not a bad race for him there. And then 25th of November at Gulfstream, 1 mile off 6'2", finished second by 2 lengths that day. He stalked. He had the lead. He just couldn't quicken up late. Lure him in. Who's running back this one is running back this one again. Renton won that day. He's running back this one again. Can't speak today. I'm all over the place. But he ran his heart out behind him that day. His bars have been getting better as of recently. He's a horse that's on the up and up. At 10-1, let's use him. I think the 9 horse here, best actor for Brad Cox and Flavian Pratt can win also. Most recently, a month ago in the Mine Shaft, he finished second by a head that day behind Money Supply, who just outgamed into the wire. But this horse stalked, was with them early on. Just couldn't get the turn of foot late. Maybe needed the race that day, but he ran his heart out that day. Prior to that optional 50 in late November at Churchill, he won by 2.25 lengths again. Flew on the front end. He really took off clear. And then in Aqueduct at the end of September, an optional 80, he won by 3.75 lengths again. On the front end, he won for fun with a 97 bar. Very impressive run was there that day at Aqueduct when he won. And, that's a good horse. But refreshing here, he could win. And also, watch out for the 2 horse Gasoline. His horse I seem to pick a lot. But, he always runs these sneaky good races. If he doesn't win, use him in the Super. He's definitely get that. He had a decent third in the Mine Shaft last time out. 2 back, he just had a very wide trip at Gulfstream. And then, in the Clark, he just was, again, wide throughout. Gets an inside post draw. A mile and 1/8 is what he wants to do. Johnny V and Talpatch are reuniting. Let's give this horse a shot. But to recap my selection for the 9th now from the fairgrounds, it's New Orleans Classic. Gonna take the 4 horse Black Belt. We'll give kudos to the 9 horse Best Actor and the 2 horse Gasoline. 4-9-2-10 Super, 4-9 in the multi race. Let's get to the 10th event now from the fairgrounds, which is the Muniz Memorial Classic Stakes. It's a Grade 2 event going for a $300,000 purse race for 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field here of, field 13 horses. Baker's Dozen going 1,800 meters or a mile and 1/8 here on the Stall Wilson Turf Course. It wouldn't surprise me with the fields we've been getting in this race the last few years if this race becomes a Grade 1 by the end of this decade. So that's what I say, because it's just been getting better and better, and it's kind of a stepping stone to something like the Arlington Million, the Manhattan. It just seems like horses are always running good out of this race. And like I said, wouldn't surprise me if they make it a Grade 1. I'm going to go to the outside gate with the 13 horses, the top selection of 13 horse. I'm very busy. 13-4-3-2 in the superfecta. 13-4-3-2 Super. Top selection 13 horse. I'm very busy. 4-year-old colt by Cloud Computing. Chad Brown trains. Iratis Jr. gets the mount. Most recently in the Pegasus World Cup at Gulfstream, mile 8th, 27th of January. He finished second by half a length that day and had a very, very troubled trip early on. Had to bump around a few times. Had to bump around at the top of the lane. He closed up from nowhere late. He ran his heart out that day. First time older horses in stakes competition. Refreshing here. Gonna have to overcome a wide poster. I think he could get the trip to win. I think the wide poster is to his advantage to find that clear running late. Two back in the Hill Prince at Aqueduct, mile 18th November. Finished second by 5 lengths that day. And again, he snapped back early. Interrogation won that day. Ran a terrific race. Nearly broke the track record. But this horse, he placed well behind him from where he was drawn. And then the lounge race for 100,000 at Aqueduct, 1 mile, 4th of October. He won by 4 3/4 lengths. He stalked. He got the lead. Quickened up nicely. That was a great ride from Flavian on the inner turf course. And then early September at Saratoga in a lounge race for 117. Finished third by 2 lengths that day. Again, he won a little bit more, but he got around the race course well. He's been on the improve. Great buyer last time out. I think the wide poster, it could be a detriment, but I also think it could be to his advantage where he get a clear run late. I'll use him on the ticket. I think the 4-horse beatbox for Joel and Shari DeVoe can win also. Most recent, the Fairground Stakes on the soft turf course a month ago. He won by a neck that day and closed up from the inside. A very good run for him getting up there in the nick of time. Prior to that, in the Colonel Bradley, finished second by a head that day, just, missing, but again, ran his heart out. And then the Delberto Memorial, there we go, third time's charm. He, he just needs something more, but he was a little lackadaisical, but he ran his heart out. He's been based here in the Fairgrounds all winter long, and, just continuously getting better and better, training well. It wouldn't surprise me if he wins the big one here. And even the 3-horse web slinger here for Mark Cassidy and Flavian Pratt. Most recently, the Pegasus World Cup turf. He just never had the best of trips. Had to check a few times. Ran a decent place in the Hollywood Derby at Del Mar before that, and then a very good third in the Twilight Derby as a 5-2 favorite. But coming here, decent runs as of recently. I'll give him a shot on the ticket in this very good race. Like I said, keep getting feels like this in the last few years. I could see this race becoming grade 1 by the end of the decade, if not even next year. But to recap my selection for the 10th from the Fairgrounds now, it's the Muniz Memorial. Going to take the 13-horse. I'm very busy. Give kudos to the 4-horse beatbox and the 3-horse web slinger. 13-4-3-2 super. 13-4-3 in the multi-race. The 11th race now from the Fairgrounds. It is the Fairgrounds Oaks. It's a grade 2 event going for a $400,000 purse race for 3-year-old fillies. Field of 8 horses going 1,700 meters or mile 16th here in the Oaks. Gonna take the 5-horse here, Tarifa. I'm gonna go 5-6-7-3 in the superfecta. 5-6-7-3-2 super. Top selection 5-horse. Tarifa, this 3-year-old filly by Bernardini, Godolphin homebred. Brad Cox trained. Flavian Pratt gets the mount. Most recently, the Rachel Alexander a month ago in the mile 16th locally. The horse won by 2 3/4 lengths that day. And from a tracking trip, he was a little bit wide, but he really grinded out to the wire. That was a very good run, first-time stakes quality horses. Refreshing here, getting Flavian back up. I think this horse has a real chance of winning and has a very good pedigree. I think this horse can run for days. Opposed to Louisiana Derby, which hasn't produced a Derby winner in a little bit of time, this race has really been quite, good for the Kentucky Oaks as a final prep race. So just keep that in mind as the, going closer to the Oaks and when you start handicapping that race. I figured out as I get older and older, I'm not handicapping the Derby and Oaks, weeks in advance. I'm handicapping like I normally do for a Wednesday afternoon at Aqueduct or, something like that. But do what you want. But two back in optional 100 at Fairgrounds, mile 70, 20th of January. He won by 3/4 length that day, and from a tracking trip, he really took off clear, and then just had a troubled trip prior to that in the Churchill where he couldn't keep a straight course over the mile, but really improved after that. Training well locally. Give this horse a shot here. The 6-horse Intricate for Brendan Walsh and Tyler Gaffalione could also win. Most recent, that Rachel Alexandra, she finished second by 2 3/4 lengths, and she's closing up well late. Maybe didn't outdoor the slot, but she ran okay. Back to second off the bench, hopefully a faster racetrack. She can win. Her golden rod wasn't bad at all, winning by 5 1/4 lengths on the front end or from a mid-pack position. She really took off clear. And then mid-pack going to mile 16th at Keelan with a short stretch. She flew home late. That was a very, very good run. Improving a lot. She could win 2-1. Let's use her in this pick 4 or pick 6, whatever we decide to play. To recount my selections now for the 11th in the Fairgrounds, it's the Fairgrounds Oaks. Going to take the 5-horse Tarifa. Give kudos to the 6-horse Intricate. 5-6-7-3 super. 5-6 in the multi-race. Let's get to the featured 12th race now for the Fairgrounds. A lot of races today. The 12th race, it is the Louisiana Derby. It's a grade 2 event going for $1 million. Race for 3-year-olds here. Field of 12 horses entered. Scratch the 1-horse Triple Espresso. He's going to run at the Turfway at the in the Jeff Ruby, so just keep that in mind. So actually a field of 11 horses going 1,900 meters or a mile 3/16 in the Louisiana Derby. I think since they made the race from mile 8 to mile 3/16, this race has just become a lot better. It wouldn't surprise me, and if they make more races as final Derby prep races in mile 3/16, it'd be cool. But my top selection here, I'm going to go with the number 11 horse, Tuscan Gold, 11-10-5-3 for me in the superfecta, 11-10-5-3 super. Top selection, 11 horse, Tuscan Gold, 3 are called by Medaglia d'Oro, Chad Brown trains, Tyler Gaffalione gets the mount. First time stakes quality horses, first time winners. Most recent, the main special weight Goldstream over the mile 16th and on the 31st of January. The horse made 6 1/4 lengths that day. Very wide poster that day. He sat back early. He slowly moved his way into it. And they were saying some slow fraction in the front end, but when he got to the front end, he quickened up nicely. That was a very good, strong run. Refreshing here. I think he wants to go, a longer trip. I think he could get that trip to win. Debut, he ran in the main special weight at Aqueduct, 1 mile 4th in November. He finished 4th by 3 1/4 lengths that day. Not the best beginnings. Had to check a few times. He was wide. It was a good debut. It was an okay debut, but he needed a race that day. Training well, pacing. And coming here to the fairgrounds, I'm going to give him a shot. Like I said earlier, Chad Brown horses early, this year haven't been really running. They've been running, but they haven't been really exploding like the last few years. And I think he's been waiting. I think this might be his weekend where he's going to unveil quite a few good horses. So let's use this one. I think the 10 horse Common Defense for Kenneth McPeak and Brian Hernandez can win also. Most recently in the Rebel at Oaklawn over the mile 16th, about a month ago, he won by 2 lengths that day. And he sat back early, slowly, he slowly moved his way into the race, and he couldn't catch Timberlake, who took off clear. But this horse, he ran his heart out to it. Another horse, I think he wants to go a little bit longer. Maybe he even wants turf in the future, also with the Carcanite and the Street Cry. But I think this horse could really run a good race. I thought that Southwest wasn't a proper race for him. Going mile 16th with the dirt kickback, he wasn't comfortable. He flattened out of it. It wasn't his day to win. But his maiden victory at Oaklawn over the mile in January, he won quite nicely. Won by 3.5 lengths that day, a little bit wide, but he flew home clear late. A very good, strong run. Training well locally, 59-3, 5/8 mile workout a week ago. I'll use him on the ticket. And even the 5 horse Catching Freedom for Brad Cox and Flavien. Most recent, the Risen Star. He finished 3rd by 2 1/4 lengths. He needs something more late, but he got around the racecourse well. And then on New Year's in the Smarty Jones, he won by 2 1/4 lengths that day. And again, a little bit wide, but he really flew home again. Another horse has run these decent buyers. He's bred for the trip. He has a good post draw. 4-1. Let's use him on the ticket. But to recap my selection for the 12th now from the fairgrounds, it's the $1 million Louisiana Derby. I'm going to take a shot with the 11 horse Tuscan Gold to give kudos to the 10 horse Common Defense and the 5 horse Catching Freedom. 11-10-5-3 super, 11-10-5 in the multi race. So with that being said, remember, good luck to all. Remember to follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Get 5 for more selections for race courses around the world. Good luck, everybody.